What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Danny the Bull, and I'm back with another video for my OMI homies. And it was an absolutely crazy week, and I'm here to give my thoughts on it, talk about my lessons learned from this past week. We should be talking about CPI, but we're talking about SBF, CZ, FTT, FTX, and in the end, it's really WTF. It's been a crazy week. So I'm going to give you my thoughts on all of it, the lessons that I've learned, my takeaways moving forward, and where I think OMI goes short to mid-term. Stick around. There is a lot to talk about. If you like this sort of content, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. So as you're probably aware, yesterday CPI data was released for the month of October, and it was some rare good news. We saw a bit of a slowdown in inflation numbers month over month. It was 0.4%, which was a beat on expectations. Year over year was 7.7%, also a beat on expectations, which means that we're more likely to see the Fed start to slow down on their aggressive interest rate hikes. They've raised rates 0.75% over the last couple of meetings. Their next meeting is coming up in December, and this CPI data is positive news and could lead to the slowdown in rate hikes, possibly 0.5% coming through in December, which would mark not a pause or a pivot, but a slowdown. And we saw how the stock market reacted to this news on Thursday. The S&P 500 rocketed towards its best CPI day since 2008. The S&P 500 rose 4.5% yesterday. The NASDAQ was up over 7%. Overall, it was the best day since April 2020 for the stock market. I think there was something like $1.7 trillion entering the overall market. And make no mistake, if it wasn't for the SBF and FTX debacle that played out over the last week, we'd be looking at a $25,000 Bitcoin today. We'd be looking at an OMI token that crossed over that 0.002 resistance. As it stands, we did see a bit of a bounce back for Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market yesterday, but we are still on very shaky ground as we wait for the rest of this SBF saga to play out. In the meantime, I want to discuss some of my takeaways from the last week, some of the lessons learned and reminders. All right, anytime something like this happens, it's good to reevaluate your plan and just, check yourself as an investor. So first and foremost, this whole debacle is a reminder that when we invest in a project or a stock in any company, we are investing in people. All right, and people can severely screw other people over, and that's exactly what happened this last week with Sam Bankman-Fried. He screwed a lot of people out of billions of dollars. This is why it's important to understand the team behind the project and company, right? When it comes to VV, that would be Dan and Dave, and I've done a ton of research on them. I've met them in real life, and I feel comfortable with them. And a lot of people complain about the pace at which they move. They complain that things take too long, MTL, etc. I agree that sometimes these things take too long. However, I would rather a slow and steady progress than a meteoric rise that explodes and implodes because they move too fast and they made mistakes. Because at the end of the day, it's consumer money that is at risk. All right, and when you move too fast to check off boxes, you tend to make mistakes. So while we complain often about the timeline being pushed back and things like this, I think it's important to remember what's important. That being said, a lot of people were blindsided by this whole thing. SBF went from being a hero to a villain in one market cycle, all right? Just a few months ago, he was bailing out the whole crypto industry, and now he's causing it all to crash. So as much research as we do and as much as we know, there are always things that we don't know, and we need to be mindful of that. So for me personally, I protect myself from things that I don't know by diversifying a little bit. All right, I don't over diversify, but I do spread my money out over different projects and stocks in order to protect myself from one company going down. For me, the next lesson in all this is the importance of having a plan. Because when you have a plan, it keeps you from reacting emotionally when things get super volatile. And these are my bear market rules. These are things that work for me. All right. One, I don't chase green candles. All right. During a bear market, I never buy something on green days or after something has pumped up. Rule number 2, I DCA on red days. Rule number 3, I keep cash on the side to buy big dips and go in a little heavier. And my 4th rule during a bear market is don't be too greedy to the downside. Because sometimes when you wait too long, you really just end up missing an opportunity and you overcomplicate things for yourself. So those have been and will continue to be my bear market rules. When you have a plan in place, it makes it easier, all right, to navigate a market like this. And most of my purchases during this bear market have been in the 0.0012 range for OMI. And even though we did hit triple zeros again, I don't regret any of those purchases. So now when the market crashes the way it did last week, you get a lot of people saying, I told you so. But the fact of the matter is, no one knows what's going to happen. No one can predict with 100% certainty the future of markets. And the same people who were calling for 100K Bitcoin during the last bull cycle are now calling for a 10K Bitcoin during the bear market. And we might very well see a 10K Bitcoin, but we also might not see a 10K Bitcoin. The fact of the matter is, we just don't know. And for me, it helps to have a plan. All right, not to wait around for things to happen. I continue to DCA. I layer in, but it's also important to remember to layer out, because one of the hardest things to do as an investor is to take profits when everyone is feeling euphoric and when the markets turn and we're back in a bull market. One of the hardest things to do is sell. But again, if you make a plan ahead of time, it's much easier to execute. All you have to do is execute the plan instead of making a decision when you're emotional. All right, and my plan for the next bull market is to layer out a little bit in chunks at key levels, the same way that I layer in. I DCA in, I DCA out. We see how brutal this bear market is. It's a reminder to take profits during a bull market. Another reminder that we got from this whole SBF thing is self-custody and the importance of self-custody in crypto. All right, there are so many shady things happening, so much interconnectedness that you might actually have your tokens on an exchange that's doing the right thing, but they might have exposure to an exchange that's doing the wrong thing and get taken out, all right, when the dominoes fall. Just like we're seeing with BlockFi, we've seen 3AC go down, we've seen Voyager, Celsius, and now FTX. Billions of dollars from retail investors wiped out. All right, so it's important to self-custody your crypto. One more interesting thing to note, right, with all these prices plummeting is the effect that this is going to have on VV collectibles in the future. Once crypto to NFT is fully implemented, once OMI to NFT is fully implemented, you're going to see more correlation in the VV marketplace. Now, we did see VV prices come down over the last week or so. However, when people can directly sell their collectibles for crypto and for OMI, they're going to do so. They're going to flee towards crypto when things get very attractive, right? You got a 000 OMI token. You're going to see people cashing out their collectibles, and you're going to see that interconnectedness play out even more and create volatility within the VV app. And remember that where there is money, there is greed, and this isn't necessarily about crypto. This is about human nature and a lack of regulation. During the financial crisis of the Great Recession just over a decade ago, 492 banks failed. So this doesn't just happen in crypto, it also happens in the traditional finance market. And just like the traditional financial system recovered, the crypto markets will also recover and will emerge stronger than ever. Of course, we're going to anticipate volatility this week as we see what the fallout from this big debacle is. And of course, we're also going to see some regulatory scrutiny. Hopefully, good regulation comes out of this whole mess. In the meantime, I'll be taking advantage of this bear market, accumulating coins, accumulating Bitcoin, Ethereum, accumulating the OMI token. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. As always, I hope you all have a great weekend. Stay happy, stay healthy, and stay safe. I will see you in the next video.